welcome to Tales of Honor Podcast, a podcast dedicated to telling the true stories of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tales of Honor Podcast. I'm your host, Christoph Ambrosch, and today's episode is episode 62. Like I said in the last episode, this month and next month is going to be all Vietnam recipients. There's definitely more than what I can do in the 2 months, but I just wanted to break up the pattern a little bit, go with a theme for a little bit, and I'll do something next the following 2 months after that. We'll just go by a group of twos. We'll do it that way. Unless you have a better idea, what you do, let me know. Hey, before I get into the sponsor for this episode, which is Combat Flip-Flops, I want to give a quick shout-out to Willie Pete's Chocolate Company. If you guys haven't heard of them or haven't had a chance to try it, please do. I highly recommend it. It's a combat veteran-owned business up in Connecticut, and I recently ordered a couple bars and had a little tasting with the family, and we all... It was a unanimous decision that we all love it. Even my kids like the the Star Cluster and the one with the peanut butter. And of course, I'm drawing a blank right now. I didn't write this down, but they even have just a little bit of chili pepper in it, and they liked it. Gave thumbs up to it. And honestly, even though I like spicy things, and so does my wife, we both really love the Black Ops, which has Black Rifle coffee grounds in it. Truly good. Go ahead and give them a try. I guarantee you'll like it if you like chocolate. I guarantee you like it. Go on, just search for Willie Pete's Chocolate Company on either Facebook, Instagram, or the World Wide Web, and definitely give them a try. But back to who is bringing you this episode, episode 62. It is Combat Flip-Flops. They are a veteran-owned apparel company with a mission to create peaceful and forward-thinking opportunities for self-determined entrepreneurs affected by conflict. Look, that's a lot of words. And what does it mean? Well, it means helping educate Afghan women and girls. Simple as that. It means helping remove unexploded landmines and other ordnances in Laos. It's as simple as that. It also means supporting members and the families of the Special Operations community. Simple as that. Head on over to combatflipflops.com today. Do some shopping around there. I own a pair of their Flopperators, and really, they are the most comfortable pair of flip-flops. I've been made fun of by so many people for wearing flip-flops in weather that I probably shouldn't be wearing them. But I tell them they're the most comfortable flip-flops I've ever worn in my life, so why would I put them away? Combat Flip-Flops. Flipping the view on how wars are won. Business, not bullets. And now, a tale of honor. Donald G. Cook was born on the 9th of August, 1934, in Brooklyn, New York, and attended Xavier High School in Manhattan. Here, he was a football lineman that had earned the nickname the Bay Ridge Bomber. After high school, Donald went on to St. Michael's College in Vermont, where he would meet his future wife, and then enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps in 1956. His time as a private was short-lived, as he was then sent to Officer Candidate School in Quantico, Virginia. In 1964, Donald was a captain and was deployed to Vietnam and served as an advisor to the Vietnamese Marine Division. He was captured by the Viet Cong after an injury, and it was his action while in captivity that would earn him the Medal of Honor. The citation reads, "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty while interned as a prisoner of war by the Viet Cong in the Republic of Vietnam during the period 31 December 1964 to 8 December 1967. Despite the fact that by doing so he would bring about harsher treatment for himself, Colonel, then Captain, Cook established himself as the senior prisoner, even though in actuality he was not. Repeatedly assuming more than his share of responsibility for their health, Colonel Cook willingly and unselfishly put the interests of his comrades before that of his own well-being, and eventually his life. Giving more needy men his medicine and drug allowance while constantly nursing them, he risked infection from contagious diseases while in a rapidly deteriorating state of health. This unselfish and exemplary conduct, coupled with his refusal to stray even the slightest from the code of conduct, earned him the deepest respect from not only his fellow prisoners, but his captors as well. Rather than negotiate for his own release or better treatment, he steadfastly frustrated attempts by the Viet Cong to break his indomitable spirit and passed the same resolve on to the men whose well-being he so closely associated himself. Knowing his refusals would prevent his release prior to the end of the war, and also knowing his chances for prolonged survival would be small in the event of continued refusal, he chose nevertheless to adhere to a code of conduct far above that which could be expected. His personal valor and exceptional spirit of loyalty in the face of almost certain death reflected the highest credit upon Colonel Cook, the Marine Corps, and the United States Naval Service. While in captivity, one of the escape attempts, led by Donald, had failed, and a VC officer had threatened to shoot him. Donald was empty-handed and stared the officer down and said, "You can't kill me. Only God can decide when I will die." On another occasion, Donald had been threatened with another execution and was forced to his knees, and the muzzle of a pistol was placed against his forehead. He looked up and proceeded to calmly recite the pistol's information, and this diffused the situation. Donald had been promoted to colonel while missing and died in captivity from malaria at the age of 33 after almost 3 years of captivity. In April of 1980, his daughters decided to go through his stored belongings from when he was in Okinawa. He had written a letter to his 4 children in hopes that it would be found in case he became a casualty. One line in the letter that has since been engraved on a brass plaque on the bulkhead of the USS Donald Cook: "Do what is right and just, no matter what the personal cost." And that was A Tale of Honor. Thank you so much for listening to Tales of Honor podcast. And if you like this podcast, which I know you do, of course you do, why wouldn't you? Please be sure to leave a nice review, a good rating, and tell a friend. Look, there's only one way other people are going to be able to find this podcast and know that it's going to be a good one, and that's by leaving a review and a rating so people look at it. They're scrolling down through. Let's just say they type in Medal of Honor into the search bar, and this comes up, and they go, well, this has a 5-star review. Of course I'm going to click on this. That's what we want. It's not for my own self-esteem. It's for others. It's for others to know that it's a good podcast, and that's how you feel about it. So let other people know. You can see more information on Facebook, Instagram, and at talesofhonorpodcast.com. If you have any questions or comments, you can send them to talesofhonorpodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, I'm Christoph Ambrose. Thanks for listening.